So they have Danson, Omari, and I have Gabriel, Muthuma. And we can talk about the Ma vote, we can talk about the political landscape in Narok. Then we'll focus on an opinion poll that was carried out on different aspirants in Kisumu. That would also be interesting, so maybe we could line that up. So what are your thoughts about which side, which political divide Narok falls in?
You know, number one, I don't know who said Narok was a political, what do they call it? That was somewhere in the middle.
A battleground?
A swing vote. I don't know who put it as a swing vote.
You don't think it's a swing vote?
I don't think so. You see, apart from whipping the emotions of the Ma people when it comes to the issue of historical injustices, when it comes to the issue of land, I think DP Ruto has taken a message that is so severe in the hearts of the Ma people. And he's been able to use some historic precedents, given the fact that Raila Odinga served in government as Prime Minister, and the fact that Orengo was in lands.
Was the lands minister, yeah.
So DP has really focused on that, and he was asking, at least you've seen what we've done, albeit the fact that we've, done Kidogo. We have your governor. And also, your reporter said something quite eloquent, which is very true, about the Purko and the clanism in Narok. So that has bended on to the Jubilee side of things when it comes to Narok in itself. When you talk about those injustices, and you remember, you can pull this way back to the war, was it in Enasupukia, where Olentimama and the likes of John Keane were really geared into it to ensure that the Ma people get what is rightfully theirs. DP Ruto has come up with a notion that these people were in that government, and when the blueprint was left on the issues of Agenda 4, land was a very motive issue of our time, of that particular time. They did not deal with anything, zero. So he was pushing a narrative. Why now would they strike the fear in you that land has become all of a sudden a motive issue in their camp, that we have not dealt with it? You see, when politicians use the narratives of divide and rule, and continually you have masses that are beginning to get educated a little bit, they put you at a very serious advantage, like this issue in Narok. What I would like to hear coming out today, and I don't know whether the president will talk about it, is you remember they found gold, a lot of gold in Narok. I want to hear what industries all said in that effect. Farming has also been a serious issue, mostly in wheat. People are really looking to see. Number 3 issue, which came out very clearly the last time DP was there, were the roads. And you see they are working on that particular road because they were told we are taking a lot of time moving our produces.
From here to
So I think not only being a campaign, I think it's a goodie promise tour. And I think the road will come in as a very huge factor.
They'll get a lot of goodies.
Apart from that, the title deeds thing that are coming, the conflict that has been there, the human conflict and, wildlife, the issue to do with drought. I think that's some of the few things I think Uhuru may take there.
He may touch on. Danson.
I think my view is that, Narok is the famous place for nyama kula wengine kumeza mate. That is the town.
Yes.
It has patented that.
Wengine wanakula nyama, wengine wanameza mate. Danson, lakini uko side gani ya kukula nyama?
I'm always neutral, but I will vote for somebody come 2017.
Okay.
What I'm saying is that when you look at the politics of Narok, the DP and the president have put a very serious fight to reclaim Narok. What I don't see them doing is understanding what are the requirements and what are the needs of the Ma community. When you talk about the roads, the Ma community utilizes roads to a very small extent.
Okay.
This is a pastoralist.
Right.
These are nomads.
Yes.
People moving, looking for pasture. When you are building roads for the settlers who have wheat farms, who have farming going on, who are not the indigenous. So the roads are not for them. Number 2, when you're putting electricity, you are not putting electricity to nomads who are moving with their cattle. They know the electricity that is going to Narok is for the settler community.
Right.
When you are dealing with the question about the Maasai community, for free, Jubilee should be dealing with the question of how do they treat the cows, the livestock? How do they get artificial insemination for those cows? How do they get the cure for the vaccination
So those are the
for
issues
anthrax?
that the president probably
Those are the
should
issues the
focus on.
president should be addressing to. How does he deal with the question of the market when droughts arise?
Right.
Remember, that has been an issue, that there are cows that are dying of drought and they are not being bought. Those are the issues of the Maasai. Also the question of land. Land in Ma community is owned on trust. It's a trust land.
Right.
It's not about title deeds. When you talk about issuing title deeds, you are exercising trust land that was being held under Kajiado or the Kajiado County that time, now under the Kajiado County, under the Narok County government, to individuals, while the community believes that that land should never be given to title deeds. So I think Jubilee has not realized that the message to the community is one. When you talk about the TGRC report, it is talking about land that was trust land that was removed from the Maasai community and handed over to the issue. Lastly, look at the Mau Forest. The Mau Forest is a region that is inhabited largely by the Kipsigis community. This is where the forests are. This is the land that has been cut. The trees have been cut. The floods that are coming to Narok are reasons of this. This is the reason why in 2013, Raila Odinga lost badly, because the question was that the people who were moved from the Mau Forest were never resettled. To date, they have never been resettled.
True.
Remember, the Ithare Dam is affecting this area. How will the president navigate on the Itare farm? He should be looking for a convincing message that this water is coming for the cows. If that water is going for home consumption, the Maasais have no interest about
So the only
home,
way
because they have
water,
no home.
They just want to hear water will come
They
for the
want
cows.
to hear water for their animals. So if the president captures the narrative of the animals of the Maasai, he will connect with them. But lastly, the Maasais will vote based on their clans. That can never change. And the biggest clan, the Olentimama clan, seems to have moved away from the Ntutu clan. Ntutu comes from the smallest clan. Is he likely to be voted? That is the question that is in Narok. When you look at Joanna Ngeno, the MP for Dirkir, the guy who married the other day, he gets much votes from the Kalenjin community. In Narok County, the diaspora vote is almost 40%. We have a huge settlement of the Kipsigis, Kisis, Kikuyus, Luos, and Luyas. That constitutes over 40% of the voting bloc. How will it be navigated? Many of the votes that went to Olentutu was from the diaspora vote. Is that vote still with the Olentutu, or is it now with the Tunai? So the president has a chance to reclaim and clarify to the Maasais that the Nyama he talked about, he has brought it in terms of water. The Nyama that he talked about, he has brought it in terms of cheap veterinary services for the cows. And the president
So it's
will
all about
connect.
their lifestyle.
It's that narrative will be purely about the livestock. If anything is there, then that is the issue. Then lastly, the Maasai Mara Game Reserve and National Park
That's a
falls
huge
under that
conversation,
area.
yeah.
Who is milking that cow? The president must explain properly that that is bringing benefit to the indigenous community. There is a perception that the people who are milking that cow are not the indigenous Maasais. How do they deal with that? And lastly, my good friend has told me, gold was discovered in that place.
Right.
Is it likely to spark tantrums the way we saw in Narok, when Governor Narok was very categorical that we need a certain percentage of the proceeds
of
of
oil.
whatever of natural resources that is captured from this area to remain here? Are we likely to see somebody championing for that? He will endear himself so well to the people of Narok County. I'm aware that I'm probably thinking the president is properly advised.
Right.
But if he goes again with another message of the Nyama eating episode, he will lose the very many votes that the DP has
Jesus.
worked for the last 3 weeks.
True.
I'm telling you, the
That
DP,
in-tray.
the DP has really worked.
Okay,
and they have
listen,
gotten,
guys,
they have
guys.
given them a leakage.
So, you're stuck with me again for the next 1 hour,
No
people. You're watching News Center. Thank you for staying with us. We have a lot to talk about, including that conversation about whether or not ODM or the opposition should be allowed to tally results or not. And of course, you're still focusing on the nomination. And then there's some key pronouncements that were made the other day at a Wiper meeting. And that sort of makes us go back to that conversation whether or not Wiper is in NASA to stay. We'll tell you why.